So hi, my name is Mario Di Dio, and I'm the General Manager of Network at Helium. For the ones that are not familiar with Helium, so Helium is what we refer to as a decentralized wireless network. What does a decentralized mean? Well, when you think about a wireless network, you always think of one of a centralized approach when a single operator owns the infrastructure or few really owns the infrastructure. In the case of Helium, instead, we have a community of deployers that deploy infrastructure. And so when you put all this together, then creates a network which is owned by the many, hence the word decentralized. And specifically for Helium, that decentralization is made possible by a blockchain layer that actually powers the network when it comes to provisioning, when it comes to actually make the network alive. And so that's at the purpose of at the central core of Helium is that this idea of adding and complementing a traditional deployment approach with a deployment that can be done by anyone, people like us and anybody that can contribute to build the network. Well, it's been a great start of the year for Helium. So back in February, we announced a partnership with Telefonica Movistar, and then later in the end of April, we announced a partnership with AT&T. So it's been a great year. Like the network is growing. We have more than 90,000 active nodes on the network and growing, and the number of carriers and partners and collaborators on the network is growing as well. So today, the network touches about 1 million daily active users. Those are essentially everyday subscribers in the US and Mexico that when they are close to a hospital, they automatically connect via Passpoint and they're able to utilize the network. So the growth is very exciting for us, and we can't wait for the rest of the year. Yeah, so back in February, we announced this collaboration with Telefonica Movistar in Mexico. What does it entail is essentially this collaboration with Telefonica to grow coverage in Mexico. What does it mean? It means that because of this collaboration, now Telefonica can utilize the Helium network, the Helium community, to deploy coverage. We actually do that in a very straightforward way, because Telefonica team draws on a map what are the coverage areas that they want to augment with Helium, and then the Helium community sees that on a map. They call them expansion zone. There is actually a website called Helium World that you can go to check out this interesting concept. But then when the Helium community sees the expansion zone, then they go and start building a network. And thanks to that, again, Telefonica Movistar will over time onboard about 2 million users on the network in Mexico. With AT&T, the collaboration that we announced with AT&T is essentially a twofold. One is an offload agreement in which AT&T subscriber, when they are within a range of an approved hotspot, can offload that seamlessly, and that's already happening in the US. The second part is really a joint work that we're doing within WBA. We're pushing forward the industry on a convergence play with this idea of access metrics. What access metrics are is this idea of essentially have a quasi real-time monitoring of the quality of experience, the quality of service metrics on the Wi-Fi link. And Helium has been pioneering in this together with companies like Single Digits and AT&T within the WBA. So these are the kind of like the TLDR, if you wish, of these two announcements. Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of 2024, we got engaged more within this Access Metrics Network group. Actually, this big kudos to my colleague Joey Padden, which is now co-leading the working group. What's in there is essentially this idea that if we believe in a converged wireless future, which we truly believe, or what I mean with convergence wireless is this idea that the user will be connected, the subscriber will be connected seamlessly to whatever is the network that serves best, no matter if it's cellular, if it's satellite, if it is Wi-Fi. So this is what the industry calls convergence. Well, one of the big things that was still missing, and it still does in many ways, is real-time monitoring of what is the quality of service when a subscriber connects to Wi-Fi. So if you're a carrier using a Wi-Fi as a carrier offload option, you want to have the visibility in order to do those decisions on when and how to steer clients. So the working group, the access metric working group, is developing metrics, and with Helium we did an actual proof of concept of that in our own Helium hotspots, in which carriers that offload into the network, they are receiving real-time streaming metrics of the quality of service of their users. So the next level, in the next step, we are now phase 3 in there, which is this proof of concept that we collected thousands of radios to study how those metrics evolve and how those metrics can be utilized. So the next step would be understanding, okay, what else do we want to add to those metrics, and also what kind of actionable insights we want to do with those metrics, and the collaboration also with the other side of the organization or WBA, like the AI ML group as well within the WBA, because of course those metrics can be served as a way to train models and things like that. So the magic of the WBAs, I mean, even prior to Helium, with other prior engagement in my life, like I always been very engaged with the WBA because it's an interesting, the people in companies that participate in WBA are very much bought into all the working groups and all the work that the WBA does, and there is a sense of like ownership because everybody that is at the event somehow as a contributor in some place in one of the working groups. So the end result are usually events that maybe they're not like the big glamorous like that we see in other big conferences, but they actually have a lot of subject matter expertise, and they serve a lot, specifically also for business development purposes, to have those partnerships. With Helium, we are still relatively small, and so it's a very great conduit to jumpstart those conversations. So as I suggested to someone, with that, well, it's a very interesting intersection between deep and significant subject matter expertise together with very great business development opportunities. And so that would be my biggest suggestion to someone that might consider joining the WBA.